must say, mate, I was a magic fanatic when I was a kid.
Absolutely.
I loved magic. So to be sitting next to Lucas Kogaki on the dos&d show is a big thrill for us. Welcome, mate. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, boys.
I got that all right, didn't I?
Yeah.
You nailed it, Dos. Well done. Mate, we're so excited to speak with you today. We can't wait to dive into your world, but not just a magician. I reckon we've got the best in the country sitting alongside us right now. Mate, firstly, how long have you been doing it? Because you were telling us off air, it's quite unbelievable.
Yes, I started when I was 14. I've just turned 24, so just under 10 years now.
Wow.
And this is the thing that blew my mind, and the question to you was like, are you doing this full time? Are you?
Yeah, I'm doing this full time. I'm traveling all over the country, so I'm doing close to 20 events a normal month. Then this month I've got 43 events. November I had close to 30, so it's pretty busy. It's
nuts.
So when you say you started at 14, are you started actually performing and getting paid for it at 14, or are you learning how to perform at that?
So I started learning magic at 14.
Gotcha,
So
okay.
that's when I first sort of got exposed to magic and learnt my first few tricks.
Yep.
From there, I sort of branched out showing friends and family. And after a couple of weeks of that, I was like, all right, I'll take the cards to school. I'm like, this is going to go one of two ways.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, they're either going to beat the shit out of me or they're going to love it. But luckily, they loved it. Everyone's screaming, running away. Oh, my God, how'd you do that? Show this guy, show that guy. Couple of days of doing that. One day I didn't take any cards or anything to school, and somebody's like, show me a trick. I go, I can't. I go, didn't bring anything. They go, why? I go, I don't know, I just didn't bring it. And they go, but we want to see magic. So since that day, I've never left the house without a deck of cards.
Really?
There you go.
Yeah. Everywhere you go.
Everywhere I go.
Well, it's your business card.
Well, it is really. You never know who you're going to run into, and because magic's probably one of the only industries when somebody finds out your job, they ask you to do your job.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like, you know, if you're a comedian, they're not really going to say, tell me a joke. Or if you're a doctor, they're not going to say, well, look, my foot's a bit sore. Can you diagnose me? As soon as you say I'm a magician, show me.
Yeah.
So it's like you've always got to be ready.
So can you remember the first video or book you might have read, the first influence?
Oh, absolutely. So the first trick that I ever saw was on YouTube. It was a interactive trick, like one that you do through the screen. It was 4 a.m. I was in bed, had school the next day, should have been asleep. I was down the rabbit hole of YouTube and I see interactive card trick, works through the screen, whatever, clicked on it. And it was this guy held up 5 cards and he goes, think of one of them. Go, yep, whatever, thinking of one. Takes one card out, turns them back around and goes, your card's gone. And I was like, whoa, how the hell does that work? I'm thinking, well, if you were here, maybe you'd look at my eyes, but this is through a screen. This doesn't make any sense. So that was the first trick I saw. And then I'm scrolling through the comments. I'm like, surely somebody's put the answer. Nothing. Fast forward a week. I'm at school in the library doing, I don't know, it was English or history. I was doing something. And I was looking for a book and I stumbled across 101 self-working card tricks. So I was curious. I took it off the shelf. I borrowed it, started reading. Halfway through the book, that trick's in the book. Oh. And I was like, wow.
Crazy.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like it was
so basic.
Can you reveal it to us?
Can't. No.
No. So that one. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
But it was so simple. But I was taken aback how something so simple caused me such a profound reaction.
Wow.
And that interested me so much that I was like, all right, let's keep doing this. And it just sort of snowballed from there. I never stopped.
So are you somebody that needs to know the answer to everything? Is that you, or is it like what really draws you into it? Is it knowing the trick, or is it the art of performing or surprising, or?
Honestly, it's seeing people react.
Yeah, okay.
Like when I was younger, maybe more so I was interested in learning everything you can learn about magic and deception and understanding how people think. Now, so I more am drawn to the psychology of it, how people think, why people think a certain way, how to make somebody think what you want them to think. But honestly, it's the reaction. It's like, I was asked this question at an event the other day. They go, don't you get bored of doing the same trick over and over again? And I'm like, you should, but I don't, because everyone has a different reaction. It's like, it's different every single time. So like, that's my drug, seeing everybody just like scream and react. And
Is it, because I remember, so I saw David Copperfield in Vegas, and I think I saw in Australia Cosentino as well. But Copperfield, that actually scared me. So have you ever had those types of reactions where people are actually like,
oh yeah, no,
terrified?
I've had every reaction under the sun. I've had people cry, scream, run away, no reaction at all. I've had somebody faint. Like I've had everything.
Yeah.
So do you define yourself as a magician or an illusionist, and what are the difference between the twos?
I'm a magician.
Yep.
Illusionist, I would say, are like the people on the stage with the smoke, the mirrors, the props. Illusion technically is just a trick of the eye.
Okay.
What I do is psychology, sleight of hand. It's sort of mixing those two together to create the feeling of magic.
Okay.
Yeah. So like definitely not an illusionist.
Right.
And then when we're talking like you're learning your first couple of tricks, when do you start actually gathering like a real good handbook that you can actually go to school? Like, did you start with one trick and then 2 tricks and 3 tricks, and how long did it take you to get no pun, a bag full of tricks?
Yeah. I don't know. I was always I'm impatient.
Yeah.
So like I would learn like 5 at a time and then just go do them. And then I would learn another 5 and go do them. Like I don't think there was any sort of set timing in it. It was sort of just like, all right, learn a new trick, get it to a point where it's good, and then
Did you make mistakes when?
When I was starting, absolutely all the time. But like that's how you learn.
Yeah.
Like you make your mistakes and you get embarrassed and you say, never going to do that again.
Yeah.
And you work on it and you get better and you just progress and that's about it.
So I don't know how much you can say, but you say like sleight of hand. So is part of it like you like maintaining eye contact with somebody and then quickly doing something with your hands?
Yeah, like that's the bare bones of it. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's more nuanced than that.
Of course,
but,
yeah.
Like that's more misdirection.
Yeah.
Sleight
So
of
that's
hand.
all part of it. It's all.
There's like
it's
like
not just what's in front of you. You're doing little things that we don't even pick up on.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like an onion. There's so many layers of things that go into just maybe, in your eyes, a very simple trick. There's a million things going on in the background, right? Like, and that's not even in terms of the sleight of hand. It could just be a certain word that I use at a certain time, or the way I look at you, or the way I function, especially when I'm performing. It's very calculated in a way to make you have the best experience possible.
Right.
Has it like excelled your taking magic out of it? Has it excelled your life in a different way? I'm assuming like psychologically now you're probably for one you're probably a really fast learner, and 2 like I don't want to say you're not a mind reader, but has it helped you in just everyday living?
100%.
Yeah.
Like I think people always like ask me, "Oh, do you have a gift?" Like, no, I don't have a gift. Like, I'm not a wizard, not yet at least. But I'm not a wizard. But I think naturally, I just have a knack for sort of reading a room and understanding people. And I think having interacted with so many people over the last 10 years, like obviously, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So I can sort of walk into any room or social situation now and be really good and understand what's appropriate, what's not, how to sort of interact with a certain person to give them the best experience, or even just have a conversation with this person that they'll enjoy. So I think reading people and acclimatizing to a certain environment, I'm very naturally good at that now.
I'd hate to be a young single man at a house party and you're doing all right, and then Lucas walks in and just takes all the attention away and just cleans house.
Wouldn't that be nice?
But that's just the charming personality and the blue eyes.
Exactly.
Before the cards even come out.
He's absolutely spot on. So when was the first time that you actually performed for, like, you got, what's the word? Remunerated? Is that the right word? Remunerated. Yeah. You got paid to do what you do.
Would have been 15, 16.
Wow, so pretty quick.
Yeah.
And what was that gig?
So it was, I played soccer growing up,
Okay.
and the school soccer team, it was the coach. He was like a subcontractor to the school. It was his daughter's christening or his son's christening. And he goes, Lucas, like, you know what, we love what you do. Like, can you just come do the show for us? So that was the first time I ever got paid for magic. So it was
Wow.
good. Yeah.
Who are some of your bigger inspirations, I guess? Because you, I'm sure, and you can tell us, are you constantly, for one, learning more and more, or are you now happy with where you're at? And then where did you learn from? Who were your inspirations?
So I'm not actively learning every day now, only because I've built this character, and this character is who he is, and there's only a certain amount of material that fits this criteria, and I have a very strict criteria of what would go into my repertoire. But every time something new comes up, or if I have a new idea, 100% working on it until I get it to a point where it can go into the repertoire. When I was younger, I would learn everything. But I think that helped. Like, it helped me understand what I liked, what I didn't like, what suited me, what didn't suit me. I'd say my biggest inspirations, Darren Brown and David Blaine. Two different reasons. David Blaine, like, is the godfather of close-up magic. Like, he's the one that really made it cool, and he took it to the street, and he made it less cliche. Darren Brown, in my eyes, the best performer I've ever seen. that guy on stage is phenomenal. Like I've watched his shows, the same show 1,000 times, and I'm entertained every single time. And he does more of the psychological stuff. So he's really big in the UK. So it's mind reading, hypnosis, but it's sort of like a blurred line between magic and hypnosis. But it's so interesting.
Is it like, when you say that, I almost think of like a stand-up comic that each year when they go on tour, they'll come up with like a set list, like even like a traveling band or musician, like you get a set list and this is kind of what they're going to play or what their jokes are going to be. Are you quite similar? Like, do you go to events? You said to us off air, you've done 43 events this month, or are going to do 43
there's
events.
43 total this month. I'm mostly done now. I think there's like 7 left.
Which is
It's a
absolutely...
lot of Christmas parties.
He said 4 a day sometimes, which
Yeah,
is absolutely crazy.
I've had a couple 4 days. They've been big.
We'll get into them shortly, but when you're doing constantly churning all this out, is it almost like you've almost got like a routine, a set routine, same tricks, like you know to a T what you're going to do? And
Yeah, for the most part, I have a set routine.
Yeah.
But like I said, back to like that social situation, I can tell whether somebody's going to enjoy that routine or maybe they'll like something different that I can offer. Like, so I sort of gauge somebody within the first couple of minutes of meeting them, and then I can say, all right, well, are we going to stick to the routine that works for 90% of people, or are we going to take it a different route? So I think that helps because there's no point just going through the motions.
Sure.
Like, you've got to give somebody a tailored experience, something that they're going to enjoy. Like, I know some people will really enjoy psychological stuff more than they will sleight of hand, and vice versa. Some people just don't want to sit there too long and watch it, but they want to be entertained quickly. So you can do just really short visual stuff that will get them going. So it's a guessing game, but also like when you've done it for so long, you sort of understand who's going to enjoy what type of material. But for the most part, yeah, I've sort of got a routine that I go through, and that's like what I've accumulated over the last 10 years, and I've refined, and I know works best for most people.
You know, like you love your footy. We talked about the Tigers.
Yeah.
You go for the Tigers. You picture Koch, you know, like he's sliding into your DMs of late, like you've told us, and he loves what you do. But Koch goes grand final day. He's got his footy bag packed. He knows he's got his boots, his mouth guard. I'm sure they provide the socks and whatever, and he's got whatever else he needs in his bag, and he goes to the ground. When you go to an event, let's say you're doing some roving entertainment at a 500 person event. What is in your bag, or do you simply just bring a deck of cards?
So I actually don't have a bag. I have like back to that character that I've built. The character's me. It's just me times 10, right?
Yeah, okay.
But there's very strict criteria. Like I will never walk in with a bag. For me, or a table, or like that. That's just I'm invading somebody's space with such a big object. I hate that.
Is that kind of outdated? When I think that feels like 90s kind of...
I'm not gonna tell anybody what to do or not to do. For me, that doesn't work.
Yeah, okay.
I think, like, for me, my criteria is I walk in my suit. It's slim. I haven't got shit bulging out of pockets, and that's it. The amount of events I've walked into, they go, "Where are your stuff?" And I'm like, "I am the stuff."
I love that.
I like that too.
Like, I had one that was like real. Like I had this one client that was really stressed. She was like, "Okay," and I walk in, I do it. She's like, "Oh my God, Lucas, I had to tell you. Like when you first walked in, it was like, who did I hire?"
Yeah.
I was like, "You didn't bring anything." But if you're a magician, you don't need stuff. You are like you do the magic. You don't need props. You don't need bunnies. You don't need balls. You don't need nothing. You should be the one doing the magic, the tricks. You should be the magic.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I'm very OCD, especially when I'm going to an event. My routine is like stringent.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. 30 minutes to get ready. Shower, out of the shower, get dressed, into the suit. I know exactly where everything goes in which pockets. They go straight in. Cologne, in the car, off I choose.
Mate, you said the word cologne. I've got to say.
It smells great, doesn't it?
You smell unbelievable.
Look, part of the character.
Yeah. I love that. Tell us about the types of events you've done. So what's some that stick out in your mind in terms of either they're wacky or they're huge or they're different types of crowds? Give us a bit of a range of who you've
done everything.
Okay.
Like I've done one funeral.
What?
Yeah, and that's recently. That was
Like what?
that was interesting.
Wake or funeral?
It was the funeral. Or it was the wake.
Yeah.
It was after the funeral. It wasn't at...
I wasn't buried. You went next to the coffin,
No.
I can't think of have you seen Arrested Development? Have you seen that show? Oh,
I don't think so.
Don't worry.
But
I'll
anyway.
take off there.
But like, you know what? To be fair to them, it was cool because it was a celebration of life.
Yeah.
This guy loved magic, and they just wanted
Cool.
everybody to enjoy it. So, and nobody was really sitting there crying. I felt uncomfortable at the start, but like once I realized everyone was there to just enjoy it and celebrate this person's life, I was cool with that.
Special.
Yeah, but it felt like really important for me to make sure that I did a good job there because it's you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an honour.
It's an honour, but it's also it's a milestone, something that they're never going to really forget. So I had to make sure that I, showed up, which I always do.
Yeah.
But then I've done like huge gala events. I've done celebrity events. Like I've been flown interstate for celebrity weddings. I've done
Wow.
I've done a PM's birthday.
How cool.
But then I've also done, just Nan's 80th down the street. And I've done
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Well, maybe let's not talk about Joan's 80th, but maybe going back to a couple of those celebrity events. Like, are you allowed to speak about who you've worked for, or some of the bigger names that you've worked with? And
2 weeks ago, I was flown to Adelaide for Kayla Itzinez's wedding.
Okay.
Now she's like huge on Instagram, like 16 and a bit million followers.
Wow.
Like big fitness influencer. I've done events for Kyrgios. I've done basically half
A lot of athletes.
like half of the AFL. I've done. I can see that you're talking too long. I don't want to toot my own horn too long.
Yeah.
My head's big
no,
enough.
mate, this is what this platform's for,
Yeah.
and we love hearing it. Yeah.
But like I've done heaps of big celebrities. Like, so I used to work in the nightclubs as well. And when they had artists come in, I'd always get sort of 10, 15 minutes to go spend with them and get some content. So
Well, you mentioned Sam Newman, so he
yeah,
was a guest on
I've done
Sammy's podcast.
Yeah, so like Sam's an absolute gentleman. I met him a few years ago at an event, and then obviously did the podcast with him and Don, and then see him every now and again because I do some work with his son Jack. But yeah,
That's awesome.
When you say nightclubs, what like you mean on the floor going around, or you're on stage? Like,
no. So I think to be fair, I basically got my start in nightclubs.
Yeah.
Like when I was 18, I would go to clubs, not paid to be there. I would just go with a deck of cards. And I would walk up to everybody and just be like, pick a card.
so you're just as a patron, like you're just
yeah,
going.
as a patron,
Okay, yeah.
Like,
But they don't know that.
But-
Like,
well, yeah, but I don't think it mattered. Like
Yeah.
for me, it was just like, let's show everyone.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when I was 18, it was like, let's do it for anyone who wants to watch. And that was the best thing I could have done because it got my name out there and people started being like, oh my God, that's the magician from the clubs and this. And then from there, like I'd get events and then I built up my network from there. So I think that was like the catalyst for me really starting and building a name and a profile for myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I stopped the club 6 months ago. Just the late nights got too much with everything else going on in my life. But it was fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you ever get bullied at all, like growing up enjoying magic? Because like I think it's more of a movie thing. You see it in maybe I'm trying to think, but I'm just picturing someone who likes something that's different, that's a bit alternative, that's looked at as it's not typically. You played soccer, so it's not like you were only doing magic. But did you
Nah.
ever get looked at and bullied?
Look,
or
in school, I was bullied a little bit. Probably nowhere near as much as some kids are. But I don't think it was because of the magic. Like I just think when I was like 14, 15, 16, I was just in a bit of an awkward phase in my life and I was sort of a bit lost, didn't know where I was going, and I was always very enthusiastic. I would maybe ask too many questions, but these are now traits that are like so valuable to me, and I'm so glad that I never like let people get into my head
Yeah.
about that. But I've always been really strong-willed. Like people have said heaps of stuff, and I couldn't care. Like I just do what I want to do. I know that if the people around me find it acceptable and think it's right, what's anyone else's opinion matter? So like, it was funny. I did an event 2 nights ago, and I bumped into a kid from school, and he was a year above. And hey, we get chatting. How you going, mate? Yeah, good. Yourself? And he goes, dude, like I just want to tell you, like when we were in school and you started your Facebook page for the first time and you're posting videos, like we were all looking at you laughing, like what's this kid doing? He goes, dude, I'm so sorry for that because unbelievable what you've accomplished now. Like, and for me, I didn't know they were laughing, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't think even if I knew, I would have changed anything. Like I didn't care.
Yeah.
I just did what I wanted to do, and I knew that I enjoyed it. And for me, that's paramount. That's all that really is important.
Well, sort of adding on to that question, like when do you decide you want to become like take
Do
it full
magic,
time?
yeah.
And were you discouraged from, I don't know, teachers, family, friends to pursue a normal career? And if it wasn't magic, what was your kind of backup? Like,
I never had a backup.
yeah,
And
which I
think-
love hearing.
Yeah, and I think that was paramount because if you have a backup, sometimes it's very easy to just say, okay, well, things maybe aren't going my way. Let's fall back on it.
Yeah.
I don't want to say discouraged. I think that's maybe too strong of a word, but I was cautioned. I remember I was in math in year 11 and I was like shuffling my cards or whatever. And this teacher, he pulls me aside, he keeps me under the class, and I'll never forget this comment. He goes, Lucas, you're never going to get anywhere in life by shuffling cards all day. I'm on the dos&d podcast.
Stop it.
That's the best compliment we've ever
Yeah, I
received.
actually think it has.
But so that was like I would have comments like that, but in my head, I'm like, what do you know? You know, and I think that's young ignorance at some point, and a little bit of like, you know, fire and spirit that sort of just pushes you through those comments. But also, like, my parents sent me to a private school, spent nearly $500,000 on my education. I told them I want to do card tricks for a living. A Greek family. So there were a lot of late night conversations at the start, like, because I went to uni for 3 months doing exercise and sports science and sports management.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I've been there.
The most done degree in the history
we've talked
of
about
people who don't know what they want to do.
Basic white boys.
Yeah, exactly right.
They're kind of like sport. Yeah.
Like, dude, I play soccer. This is the best thing
Yeah,
ever.
I'm going to be at Liverpool in a few
Yeah,
years.
exactly right. And then you was like, there's no work. And you're like, oh, okay. But so, yeah, I did that for 3 months. And then I told my parents I deferred, but I dropped out.
Yeah.
Cheeky.
Yeah, well, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. Long story short, that first year, obviously you're not that busy. Like you do events here and there, and I was working casual jobs. But then I got like a break, I'd say, just before COVID. I think it was 2019. I was on retainer with this company called QMS. They do like all the billboards. Like they've got, like I think they're the second biggest in Australia and New Zealand in billboards. And they had done some study on neuroscience and how like outdoor advertising affects the brain and retention. And I had done a couple of their events, and the CEO goes, Lucas, like, we want to do something with you. So he calls me into his office for a meeting, and he sort of runs me through the study and goes like, how can we incorporate like what you do into this? So I went back and I created like this whole act about how like outdoor advertising can impact your memory. So like I was like influencing people's decisions with their billboards.
Wow.
And they were, so I was on retainer with them for 3 months. So they were flying me all over the country, like presenting to the media agencies. And that was like the first time I saw like some decent money in my life. I was like, this is mad.
Yeah.
And then COVID struck. Like I just sort of found my feet a little bit. I was getting some work. COVID struck, 2 years of that, which honestly, like it sucked, but it sucked for everyone. So I wasn't like too discouraged. Took a step back from magic, which was like the best thing I could have done.
Okay.
So I like put my feet into a couple of different areas, like into movies, into books, and like really understanding storytelling and understanding magic from a different perspective. And that's, so for me, I call magic the lost sense. It's like, because you know when you're experiencing magic, but you never like quantify it. It's like you're watching a Disney movie and you feel that those butterflies in your stomach and you don't know what it is, but it's magic. Like it's that feeling. So once I started learning about that, I started putting that into my show. And then after COVID, it just blew up. Like everyone, my phone was ringing and
fantastic.
Everyone wanted me. So now, full time.
So it doesn't just like blow up though. Like that's, you create content as well.
Of course.
So you're also, I'm sure part of your job, like any job, if it's having your own business or you're a freelance type model, it's, you don't just go out there and you perform. You've got a lot of back end work, I'm sure, that you have to do as well.
Of course, you got to do your SEO, you got to do your websites, you got to respond to your emails, you got to do your calendar. There's a million things you got to do. But at the end of the day, like, it's not that difficult for me because I'm only working maybe, even if it's like 6 hours a day, the rest of the day to get all that done. And most of it comes like Monday morning. All the corporates, especially, like as soon as it comes to Monday, they send their emails. You respond to them, and that's basically your back end for the week done. But other than that, it's pretty crazy.
Do you mind if do you ever get scared that it might just vanish or drop off the face of the earth? Like all of a sudden, events. Oh, I don't know if it's events,
pandemic.
But like, do you ever get a fear of that?
Say like sometimes.
You probably don't really think about it.
No, like I do, but honestly, and like I don't want to sound like I have a big head. I'm very confident that even if this all blows up and goes to shit, I'm gonna make it somewhere else in life.
Yeah.
I just have that drive that I know that I can be successful in anything that I want to sort of pursue. So like, look, if this all goes down the toilet, it goes down the toilet, but I'll like pull myself out. Like, I've read a lot of books on stoicism, and like there's things in life you can control, there's things in life you can't control, and if you can't control them, don't stress about them because what's the point? So that's one of those things. Like, what's the point of stressing about something that you have no control over anyway?
Yeah, why trouble and wait until trouble troubles you?
Or one of the best things I heard, it's like stress just means you get to experience displeasure twice.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to do something that you don't want to do, you're going to have to experience that. But then you put all the stress and you like conflating this on top of that, and you just experience double the amount of pain. So it's like, why stress?
Well, speaking of like even content, and I'm thinking it's probably not in the immediate future, but even one day, like 10 years down the line, and it's might more fall into the illusion category. But do you have ambitions to do some really big grand trick? I'm even thinking like a ridiculous, like whether it's TV show or a YouTube series. It's like, but like I straight away comes to my mind is people that lock themselves in a cage and they go underwater and they got to find the key, blah blah blah. Do you have any ambition for any of that stuff?
That stuff does not interest me at all. Like, don't get me wrong, I've got my ambitions. Like, sort of the next 2-3 years, the plan is to hopefully step into some more TV work and stuff like that. But for me, my sole love in magic is like, it's not about what I do. It's about the person I'm doing it for.
Okay.
That's more what I'm interested in. Like, and if you go through any of my content, yeah, I'm doing the trick, but what people are interested in is the person's reaction or what they're experiencing, because that's what's more important. Like, that's what's more interesting to somebody who's viewing this and not experiencing it for themselves. Like, how does this person feel about this? And if I can somehow find a way to make it about them and not myself. Like, to be fair, David Blaine did that the best. Like, he turned the camera around. Like, prior to David Blaine, it was all on the magician. The camera was the magician. It was just about the tricks. But David's like, no, turn it around. It's about them. It's about what they experience. And like, he hit the nail on the head with that. And I'm 100% in that same category. Like, it's about who you're doing it for rather than what you're doing.
So what is TV work though? You said you want to step into TV work. What does that actually mean?
Look, I'd love to have my own show at some point. Look, I see that being a couple of years down the line, but I've always said like magic is the gateway. Like, I would love to be more of a personality.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to have my hand in a few different pots, so whether that's like hosting and or talk shows or whatever it is. Like, I feel like if I just stuck to magic, I might, it might get monotonous, might get tired. So I just want to get into the media world in maybe a different way.
Yeah, because you seem like you're very charismatic, and I can see you actually being somewhat of a host or a presenter of some kind. Like, you don't just have a pocket full of skills. You've got much more than that. And I'm sure that something that you really worked and trained for as well. Like, you don't just all of a sudden know how to do a few card tricks and then can hold yourself in a room full of 500 people. Like, there's a lot of public speaking training, and I'm sure preparing yourself, getting through nerves and things like that.
Yeah. When I was, 16, 15 maybe, one of my aunties, she pulls me aside at like a family function. She goes, Lucas, you're so one-dimensional. I go, what do you mean? She goes, all you do is the cards. All you do is talk about magic. She goes, there needs to be more to that. And like, I will never forget that comment, because she was so right. Like, for me, I want magic to be maybe the least interesting thing about me. Now, I know that's never going to happen, but if I can make myself as interesting as I can be without having the tricks to rely on, then obviously like the rest of the show and the experience is going to get better. Like, I pride myself on being able to entertain a room without having to do any tricks. Like, I think for me, like, that's always in the forefront of my mind. Like, all right, be entertaining, but don't do it solely based on the tricks that you can do.
Yeah.
Because anybody can do tricks. It's about who's doing them, how they're doing them, what the experience is.
Well, there's part of it would be improv. Like, when you watch a really good comedian, right? Like, we love Ricky Gervais.
Oh, so do I.
You look at the way he works, or even Jimmy Carr, right? Yeah. Jimmy Carr interacts with his audience, and a lot of it is very improv. Like, it's not he doesn't have a set list of jokes. Yes, he would have some structure, but I'm sure when you're performing in front of a crowd, when someone's wearing a certain color, or you notice a mannerism, or you pick up on that.
Oh, of course. And like, that's what I pride myself on, being entertaining, like, without the tricks. Like, especially when people make a comment or this and that, and just being able to like play off them and have that friendly banter and that back and forth. That's what makes it more fun and enjoyable and memorable for them, because they're like he was a funny magician, or he was good. Like, you know what? Like, I'll pay that. You can't just do the tricks. But the thing is, back to what you're saying about improv, it is, but it isn't. We've heard everything a million times. I know exactly what somebody's going to say. Everyone thinks it's original. My brain is a catalogue of just replies, comebacks, and rebuttals. But you got to be able to do it in a way that it's like it's fresh every time. You can't just say it and that's your card. You got to make it sound like you're saying it for the first time.
So so nightclubs, events, private events, and charisma and magic tricks. Tell us about the women, and tell us about the phone numbers you pick up, and tell us about just maybe even for some of our, single listeners here, why they probably should even just learn a couple of the basic tricks just to get things going if they might not have the natural charisma.
Honestly,
what does it do for a single man?
look, it helps. I'm not gonna lie, it does help. Not as much as you think.
Really? Do you have a specific story of?
Oh, I've got a few stories. I don't know how appropriate they are for this show, but it helps.
Yeah.
Especially as an icebreaker. It creates a bit of mystery. I don't know who's this magician.
Yeah.
How does he know what I'm thinking?
How does you know it's a 7 of diamonds? Yeah.
But also, it works against me because they go, oh, he's a fuckboy.
Yeah.
Oh, he's this, he's that, or he must have all the girls throwing themselves at him. I'm not going to be one of the numbers. And I'm like dry as a Sahara over here. Like, just give me something. So, look, but it definitely helps. And there's definitely been times where it's, secured the bag.
Yes.
But there's also been times where it's like, so every event, like somebody's like, oh, that's my daughter, that's my cousin, you got to go to this lady. It's like, yeah, all right. But then they don't I'm left undelivered for 6 hours. Like, tell me what's going on here.
And the key element of it is, well, one, the confidence, but two, the cologne, because the combination.
And like you said, the piercing blue eyes.
Yeah, it's a concoction that will just send girls
Of
wild.
magic, quite literally. Yeah.
It's always the guys. It's always the guys like, dude, you must just do so well. And I'm like, I wish.
Yeah, look at us. We're just like, oh, he must be just drowning.
Yeah.
If I had $1 for every bloke that's been like, dude, like, you fuck. And I'm like, well, every now and again.
He's very humble. I can tell he's being humble. Speaking of, what is the most common trick in the book? Like the ones that Dos and I could go home today or any of the listeners, what could we go and learn today? What's the most common trick?
I'd say if anyone's like wanting to start, definitely start with some self-working things. So they're like mathematical card tricks. Basically, you can't screw them up.
Yeah.
Count this number of cards, put the card there, put it back. It all works itself out. There's like a million books with like a million tricks that are self-working. It's a really good place to start because you won't get too nervous over it. You can't really screw it up. And it's all confidence. Like the more you can do a trick and the better you can do it, the better you'll get at it and the more entertaining it will be. But then from there, it's like learn sleight of hand. Like there's the Royal Road to Card Magic. It's like a book series of card tricks. It starts from like the very beginning of like even how to hold the cards properly.
Yeah,
and it moves to like the most advanced sleight of hand that there is. But like if you're interested, just go on YouTube, go online, just search for some books, just get a really good base and work your way up.
I wish I had a bit of that when I was like, I'll share a quick little story. Did you ever watch the Wiggles movie? Were you a Wiggles?
I was a Wiggles kid.
So the Wiggles brought out a movie, and
we are a bit older than the
yeah, only 4 years. Yeah. Wally the Great, he was a magician on the Wiggles movie. Do you remember him?
Yeah, because we've had this conversation.
And the cape and
cape and the hat, and he had the curly hair. But I liked magic before that, and then I remember watching this, and I was like, wow, like and Greg from the Wiggles, he was like a magician in the Wiggles, and I remember like that's just all I wanted to do. So it was my pa's 60th, and I was given like my nan knitted me a cape, and I had my wand and it's my granddad's 60th, so there's a bunch of oldies like all gathered in like the spare room and I've got my, I could never say the word assistant, but my sister was my insistent. And I had this trick, and it was like on one side of the room there was a box, with a coin or didn't have a coin, and I had the box that had a coin. So it was almost like the coin was going to move from there to there, and it was hidden in the other. Well, someone forgot to put the coin in the other one. So in front of all these people, the magic trick just completely failed.
Yeah.
And from that point on, I was like, I'm never doing magic again. My dreams are shattered, and that's it. Did you ever have a moment where you like questioned, like, was there something that went wrong in whether it's a show as a youngster, maybe recent times? I mean, you're a total pro now, but when have you had a real blunder?
Once. Like, don't get me wrong. There are times, like, I screw up all the time. You just never know about it.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to fix it. But, it was like probably like a second or third time, like, on a stage. And it was one of those, it was like a trick where, like, I basically explained what was going to happen. I'm like, this is the trick. Like, this is how we start. This is how we finish. No ifs, buts, or maybes. And we get to a point, and I'm just like, oh, this is not going to work. And we just, like, it just completely, like, fell on its ass. Uh-huh. And I just like turned to everyone and go, guys, well, you win some, you lose some, moving on. But it's like I said, like I don't know what it is. I don't know how I have it. I just have this sense of confidence in myself that's maybe a bit false sometimes, but it just sort of drives me through like the blunders and the tough times and whatnot. So I just sort of let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the longest trick that you've had across your repertoire across the years that actually from the time you start to the time it gets revealed, the longest in literally minutes
In terms of how long the
trip
goes
whether
for?
it's 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you need to keep it fast paced and moving a lot, or can you literally take people on this journey where they're on edge?
No, so when I'm doing an actual show, it gives me a lot more authority to take a bit more time.
So a show is, just to clarify, that's literally on stage.
When I'm on stage, or even so I do a lot of intimate close-up shows. So whether it's 40, 50 people and they're all around, and you can sort of see, you don't need the cameras and the microphones and whatnot. But when people come to see me, it gives me authority to take my time.
Gotcha.
Because they're coming to see a show, they're coming to see Lucas. I'm allowed to do what I want to do. But when I'm walking into a corporate show or something that I'm hired for and people don't know I'm there, it's got to sort of remain short and sharp. And as much as people love it, there are certain times where you can take a bit longer, but you've also got to work your way around a room.
Yeah.
And you've got to get to X amount of people. So you can't take too much time. I'd say the longest trick that I have is, I don't know, maybe 7 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing crazy long.
That's still a fair amount of time to...
Yeah. But that's storytelling.
Exactly.
The trick itself is quick, but it's the journey that's more important.
Have you ever gone into a casino and counted cards?
No.
Have you ever thought about it?
It's impossible, isn't it, with all the decks they have in there?
Nah.
Is it?
You can't really do it.
Okay.
But also, I don't really gamble that much.
Nah.
It's for me, what a waste of time. It's fun every now and again. You throw $50 down on red or black, and if you win, you win. If you lose,
it's a depressing place to be
But
majority of the time.
I've seen so many people just absolutely just sell their souls to these windowless rooms with no clocks, and it's not a place that I really want to spend too much time in.
Unless you're doing a gig at Crown Palladium.
Well, I do that quite often.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask, is a place like Vegas, is that in the magician land? Is that number one? Is that the place?
Supposedly, honestly, Vegas doesn't interest me too much.
There you go.
There's too much variety.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to classify myself as a variety act. I want people to say, we want Lucas. I want to see Lucas. The shows I like doing, but only when they're intimate. For me, it's the close-up stuff is just so much more enjoyable for me to perform, because I can actually sit there and talk to you and get to know a bit about you and understand your life, and that makes the experience for you better, because then I know what you want to see. Whereas when you're on stage, the shows are great, but also they have to be catered for everyone at once, and you lose that personability. So Vegas, if it happens, it happens. But I'm more than content to just stay in Australia and conquer Australia.
Yeah.
And just have a really good life here.
Do we jump onto our next segment?
I think we do. Well, I tell you what. Firstly, are you excited?
I'm really, really excited.
We're going to be treated very shortly to a little treat, a mini show from Lucas, and for some reason I'm a bit nervous. I don't know why.
Really?
Normally I have that effect on women.
Don't say that too loud. All right, so Lucas, firstly we're going to welcome our brand new segment for 2023, 2024 I should say.
Yeah, 2024.
Yeah, gosh. So we're welcoming GolfBox to the dos&d show. So firstly, we really want to thank them for their support and them jumping on board. We're going to read a little spiel shortly, but we're going to play a game with you, Lucas, which is called What's in the GolfBox.
Let's do it.
Are you a golfer firstly?
I am a golfer.
Okay.
I play 5 days a week, so whenever I'm not working, I'm golfing.
What are you off?
I'm off 13. So I've been playing a year. Yeah, so I'm off to Queenstown 3rd of January for a golf trip with one of my good mates. So we're playing a couple of courses there, so very excited for that.
Fantastic. Now, do you want to just quickly explain the rules to Lucas, and then I'll get up the spiel?
Well, firstly, geez, what a person to do this segment with for the first time.
Absolutely.
It's the first time I've ever done this segment with GolfBox proudly supporting us, and Lucas loves a hit of golf, so this works out beautifully. But essentially what we've done is we thought, what can we make something a little bit more exciting? So rather than just a generic question that we might ask you, and it's brought to you by GolfBox, they said to us, guys, make it fun. Let's make it exciting and see where it goes. So we thought, with the name GolfBox, we've got the box in front of us, and we've put about 10 different questions or challenges, or just, it could be an example of a challenge. I know one of them in there. Do we not say it?
No, we'll leave the element of surprise.
We'll leave the element of surprise. But essentially, we just want you to pick it out and maybe do whatever is on that bit of paper.
So before we do, we'll say What's in the GolfBox is brought to you by our good friends at GolfBox, Australia's greatest golf superstore. If you need it, they have it, and it gets to you fast and free. So everybody shop online right now at golfbox.com.au.
Well,
Here comes
time for a drum roll.
The first one.
The first one. So I'll open this up for you, Lucas.
grabbing one.
How are
out.
you feeling? Are you nervous?
I don't get nervous.
All right.
Nah, he doesn't get
okay.
nervous. Go for it, mate.
So just one of them.
Just
yeah,
one
just
of them.
grab.
Could be a question or a challenge.
I got it.
All right.
Oh, let's.
Am I reading it out loud?
Read
Yeah, read it out loud.
What's the worst excuse you've used to get out of something?
Oh, that's a good one.
This happened last night.
Really?
So I was at an event and I shouldn't say it. I'll say it anyway. I was at an event and like we're back to the previous thing. Everyone's always trying to play Cupid at these events with me for whatever reason.
Okay.
And somebody goes, oh, that's my cousin over there. Like, can you go magically put your number in her phone? And I looked over and I'm just like, not my type.
Yeah.
Lovely. Like, she's actually beautiful, just not my type.
Okay.
And I'm like,
Fair enough. Yeah.
and I just, look, I'm not a heartbreaker. I'm a nice guy sometimes. So I'm just like, oh, yeah, look how old is she? She looked young. I'm thinking, I'm mad. I'll just get with that one. She's like, oh, she's 24. I'm like, fuck. She goes, how old are you? I'm 24. And I'm like, too young. She's like, what do you mean too young? I go, I date older. She's like, what do you mean? I go, yeah, I just date older. Like, it's just more my type. And then she's like, why is that? I go, I don't know. I just feel like I'm at a different stage in my life than most 24-year-olds. She goes, well, that's sort of like generic. You can't really say that. So
She's really poking, isn't she?
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we
Have
get
a crack.
it too, yeah.
And then I really hope they don't listen to this. Because like I felt really bad after. But my mate, he's told me this line he uses on Hinge every now and again, like when he just wants to get out of something. And I'm like, look, I'm going to be honest.
Well, no.
Just got out of a relationship and I'm just not in the right headspace right now. But yeah, she's like, oh, that's fair enough. Like, I appreciate it. I go, thank you so much. I walked out. I'm like, fuck, I'm an asshole.
Well, I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great excuse.
Yeah. But
so-
you know what? Worked the charm.
Yeah,
So
well, there you go.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Nicholas, you're a star. You've got him out of a sticky one there.
Yeah.
Well, of course, for
Until
complete,
they watch this podcast, and then
then you're in a bit of strife.
Bit of strife,
But
yeah.
it's, you know what? It's not for nothing because our good friends at GolfBox, they're going to hook you up. So we want to present this to you, Lucas. It's a $250 gift voucher
Wow.
So
to
show that
GolfBox.
to the.
Yeah.
amazing.
There you go.
So our good friends at GolfBox, that's for you. A $250 gift voucher you can use. So that should
Unbelievable.
hopefully bring that handicap down to a nice little 12.
I might
maybe
have to use
11.
that. Might have to use that on balls for New Zealand.
Balls, clubs, clothes,
do it.
Mate,
accessories.
they've got it all on there.
bit of Jay Lindenberg, I reckon.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Get on there, have a look.
Unbelievable.
But we just want to thank you, mate. For
Thank you very much for
jumping on
having me
for a chat, having a bit of fun. I tell you what, I think you got out of a couple of bad ones because I mean, there were some shockers in there, and I think you got the easiest one. But mind you,
Answered
you gave
it
us
very well.
They don't call me the magician for nothing.
no, they don't. That's for sure.
So what we're going to do now is for those listening, head over to YouTube because if you want to see Lucas in action, now this is going to be up close and personal and we're probably going to be made to look a little bit stupid, but
Not at all.
Not at all. If you want to head over to YouTube right now, you're going to see Lucas in action, so head over there now and that'll
What are we feeling? A couple of card tricks?
Oh, let me do my
Okay.
thing. Don't
All right.
stress.
But for the listeners, how do we get in contact with you? How do we follow you?
Yeah, Instagram at Lucas Kogaki Magic, website lucaskogakimagician.com. Basically, they're the two streams. Whatever you want to go from there, we can do it.
Love it.
Love it. Well, thanks for joining us on the dos&d show and we'll head over to YouTube now.
Let's do it.
Well, for those that have come straight from the podcast to YouTube, welcome back. And for those just on YouTube, welcome. dos&d show, here we are. Well, I'm feeling a bit nervous. A little bit.
I'm nervous, but I'm very excited because the deck of cards are in front of us. Is that a special deck?
This is a regular deck of poker playing cards.
Yeah, beautiful. All right. Well, should we hand the floor over to Lucas?
Let's hand the floor over to Lucas.
Let's do it, guys. Now, before we start, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you seen much magic? Whether that's YouTube, TikTok, TV, in person?
No, not a lot.
Not a lot. Not a
Okay,
lot. A
good.
little bit.
Yeah.
So you're fresh meat.
Yeah.
So, do you know what sleight of hand is?
No.
Like I'm sure you've heard of it before, but you don't really know
Yeah.
what it is. So I'm going to start off by showing you sleight of hand, but I want to show you the difference between sleight of hand and magic. So take one out. Don't show me. Remember it. Show it to the camera. Let me know when to turn back. So take anyone you want. Actually, before we start, all different, shuffled, not all the same.
No, all different.
Happy days.
Yep.
We'll give them one little mix.
Whoa.
I mean, they're impressed. I can go home. Take one out.
Pick a good one, Dossie.
Good one. I won't look. Tell me when you're ready. I'll turn back.
Yep.
Say stop. Stop. Put it back in. This is sleight of hand. So basically what that entails is shuffling the cards, moving them around, manipulating them. Your card, not on the bottom. Put your hand out like this. Not on the top.
Nope.
It's about 32 cards down. Does that look right?
Wow. Yeah.
What?
I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah, that's a yes.
Oh, that was so quick.
That's
That was just rapid though.
Yeah.
that's not magic. That's sleight of hand. That is years of practice and no social life.
Wow. No social life.
I will show you magic. Take one out.
Right, we're gonna go. I always say to myself, don't pick out the middle.
Yeah,
Same thing.
I went far right.
Don't let me see it.
Got that, Bales?
Got it? Yep. Say stop.
Stop.
Somewhere in the deck would be helpful.
Stop.
Put it back in. I won't do any sleight of hand. I won't shuffle. All I'd ask is you'd agree you put that about halfway, yes? Mm-hmm. Put your hand up. If it's on the top of the deck right now, how insane would that be?
No. No.
6 of clubs, that's the one that you chose, yes?
No.
You can be honest.
No.
5.
No.
What was it?
King of Hearts.
That look better?
What?
Did I mention I don't miss?
I was about to say, should we cut this into
That's what I was going to say.
Well, I saw that coming. I was like, let's snap pretty quickly before we have to redo that.
Wait. That, no.
Whoa.
Then
I'm
make
being
sure.
visual.
Hang on. I
I
want
reckon
this on.
I should win the Oscar for that performance.
You should.
Even I believe myself then.
I want to see that. I'm looking forward to watching that in super slow mo
You
later.
get to enjoy it.
Did I
twice as
show
well.
the first, like when he gave us, what was it? What was it before this?
It was just, yeah.
Did we show that?
Yeah, on the camera, you'll see it.
Bloody hell. Oh my
Perfect.
goodness.
I'll do it again.
Lucas, that was remarkable.
Oh,
Nuts.
that's nothing. See, when the card changed, though, it was face down. So you
Yeah.
couldn't see it change. I'll do it again, face up. I will show you the moment that it changes.
I'll go middle this time.
Yep. Got it?
Yep.
Show the camera.
Yeah, show the
Oh,
camera.
yeah. Sorry about that.
Put it back in. Again, somewhere near the middle, not on the top. Fast or slow, how do you want to see it go?
Oh, I'd love to see it slow.
Good. See how I shake it gets blurry? The blurrier it gets, the more it starts to look like the 9 of hearts. Put
Incredible.
your hand out flat. Say go.
Go.
Go on. Feel my sleeve. Make sure it's not in there. You can grab it.
Yeah, check in.
No, anything above the elbow is $50, so behave.
I nearly went there too.
Yeah, I know. The reason I get you to check, though, and I'm hoping that I can take the mic over here, is because you just got one back there, and that should look about right.
Wow.
That's the warm-up.
Yeah, that's the warm up with the straightest face I've ever seen.
That's
as well.
not magic. That's
Wow.
sleight of hand. That's manipulating the cards,
Yeah.
moving them around, making
amazing.
making it look like magic. So let's take it to the next level, because what I specialize
That
in,
is
like I
nuts.
mentioned, is psychological magic. So getting inside your heads, rummaging around a little bit, seeing what ideas I can put in, what I can
Yeah.
take
This
out.
is what I like.
Think of a card.
Okay, I'm going to think of one. Yep.
If I tell you what you're thinking of now,
Yeah.
the only explanation is I'm inside your head, yes?
Yep.
A terrifying place to be, by the way. You sick puppy.
Spot on.
Look at me. Not the ace of spades, right?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought so. I'll do it again.
Wait,
Here's the thing.
what?
Oh, you're predictable. That's easy. Because most people are going to go in the comments, oh, everyone says the ace of spades. I've heard it all before. So I'll do it again. Think of a card. You changed. You were between two, but then you stuck to your original. That's fine. Good choice. I'm going to put one card in a very specific position. Say it out loud.
9 of hearts.
Hearts. Yep. See, when I was spreading through, I want you to keep me honest. 9 of diamonds, 9 of spades. There is no 9 of hearts in the deck. Because as I was walking in, I looked at you, made a quick and educated guess, and I left one card inside the box.
Whoa.
That is ridiculous.
Fucked. Because I even changed my mind.
I know.
What?
What'd you change it from?
8 of clubs.
Yeah. Good choice.
Far out.
We'll take it to the next level.
Oh, this is. Oh my god.
So, you asked me a question earlier when we were doing the podcast. You said to me, "Does this help in social situations? How does that all work?" So, like I said,
You're not about to ask for my number, are you?
No. You gave it to me last night. The reason I so I've done this 10 years.
Yeah.
I've had every experience under the sun. The one that always intrigues me is if somebody lies. So if I find the card, I know that I found the card. Nah, it's not my card. but everyone else is saying it's your card. Like that has always interested me.
Yeah.
And I always ask the same question. Okay, well, what was it then? And then they'll tell me a lie. So I've got so good at understanding how different types of people lie that I've created this trick around it. So you're going to pick a card.
Yep.
Remember what it is.
Yep.
Show it to the camera. Make sure you say it. I'll ask you what you picked. Lie to me. Tell me one you did not choose. I will try figure out the truth from the way I believe you're going to lie. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So whenever you're ready, you take one out.
Yep.
Good choice. Don't let me say it. Say stop.
Stop.
Put it back in. Now, you show it to the camera too.
Yep.
Lie to me. Tell me one that you did not pick out of all of the cards.
Jack of spades.
See, men were terrible liars. We go as far away from the truth as humanly possible. So you said Jack of spades. First of all, a spade is black. You have a red card. Spades are pointed, so are diamonds. You have a diamond. Jack is a picture. You have a number. You said Jack, so it's either the 5 or the 6. You smiled on the 5. You have the 5 of diamonds. Yes?
Oh, because I was going to go, like, do I go the 5 of hearts? I was thinking of doing that.
But you know what? That's the easy part of the trick. That's my job, to figure out the truth.
That's amazing.
The hard part's knowing that you lie with the Jack. That's the hard part.
Oh, wow. Can you see that, Bales? Wow.
Shall we
crazy.
try one last thing?
Yes, please.
So this is my
Lucas,
favourite
this
trick.
is taking a piss.
It's my birthday next month. I think I might have to get in contact.
Yeah. I'll send you the invoice. You got your phone on you, yeah?
Yeah.
We got internet in here if we need
Yep,
it? Yeah,
yep.
perfect. So you guys know this isn't real. Right? This is psychology, sleight of hand, bit of bullshit, all in one. The reason I preface that is because this might feel real. Think of anything.
Okay.
But look, I'm going to put 2 conduits on it. One, make it something that everyone would know,
Yep.
but nothing that they would guess that you would think of.
Okay.
And something famous enough that has a Wikipedia article.
So what? So like a specific landmark or person.
Anything. It can be a celebrity, a country, a food, a brand, an object, a theory. I don't care what it is.
All right.
But just something like if we had to search for it, it would come up with an article.
Okay.
You got something?
I've got something.
Is there any way on earth I could tell you what you're thinking of right now?
No.
Exactly, I can't. Your guard's up. You're saying, screw you, magic boy. You're not getting inside my head. So I have to distract you. Play along with me on this.
Yeah.
But don't give anything away as to what you're thinking of.
Okay.
Okay? So how many articles would you guess are on Wikipedia? Not about your topic, but just everything ever. Google it. Type in how many articles on Wikipedia.
Oh, there'd be millions.
All right. Let me get to Google. Just keep an eye.
It's distracting
Can you
us.
be my eyes, please.
Yeah,
while I do this.
Good. Now, the reason I'm getting you to do this is I'm distracting you. I'm putting your mind on a different task. Your guard's coming down a little bit, making it easier for me to potentially get inside jet. So give me a look.
Yep.
Let's have a look. We'll go to the...
Don't click back.
I don't want to know your search history. I'll tell you that for free.
It's not on private browsing.
It is on private. 6.7 million articles. Which camera are we looking at? 6.7 million articles. I'm going to show you how improbable what I'm about to try is. Okay. So I'm going to open my calculator. Does it say there's an average amount of words there? 2,523?
It does.
2523 multiplied. Read that big number.
6758
6758
492.
492.
Wowee.
There's about 17 billion words on Wikipedia right now. And you're thinking of something on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this more difficult. So let's visit Wikipedia. Let's wait for that to load. You can take your phone back. Let that load.
Yep.
Now, press the little search button. On Wikipedia.
Yep.
Now, in a moment, I want you to scooch back. Whatever you're thinking of, type it in, press search, let me know when you're on the article. When you're on the article, scroll through, it doesn't matter how many paragraphs, but just scroll down a little bit. Pick a big random word, 7 letters or above, but not related to your article in any way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do that now.
Okay.
We're going to have a staring contest.
Okay.
If I try to look in the reflection at him, slap me in the face.
Okay. Beautiful eyes.
Thank you. Just try not to fall in love.
Okay, so I just got to find a big word.
You can blink, by the way. That's fine,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So are you on the article?
I'm on the article.
And then you've picked a big random word, 7 letters or above?
Yep. Got
Okay,
it.
turn your phone off before you put it down.
Off? Or
No,
just,
that's fine. Yeah, sleep. Have I looked away?
No,
Have
he
I tried
hasn't.
to be cheeky?
No, he hasn't.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, he hasn't.
Don't think of what you searched for.
Okay.
Think of the word you looked at.
Yep.
Just think of the first letter of that word.
Yep.
On the count of 3, you're going to say that letter out loud.
Yep.
I'm going to say a letter too. I just want to see off the bat how close we can get.
Okay.
So the first letter of the word you looked at, yeah?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
O.
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 Okay. Think of the whole word.
Yep.
Close your eyes.
Be my eyes,
You can
Dos.
keep your eyes open.
You watch him carefully.
3 paragraphs down. 3rd column.
He's not touching my phone, is he?
Not yet.
If I'm being made to look an absolute fool right now and you're involved, Dos.
You know what? I don't think I've even spelt this right. But don't read it out loud. But can you read what I've wrote there? Try to write.
Mm-hmm.
Show that to the camera.
Yep.
What was that word starting with O?
Me?
Yeah.
Occasions.
Open your eyes. But you could have thought.
So it's to do with that number somehow.
No. You could have thought of anything. Don't tell me what you thought of though,
Yeah.
because that was random. You didn't care about that information.
Yeah.
Think about your actual thought.
Yeah. Got it.
Wow. Close your eyes. All I'm gonna say is you're a pervert.
My girlfriend's listening. You can turn off now. Dos is laughing.
No.
Again, not out loud, but you can read it.
Yep.
What'd you think of?
Me?
Yeah.
A Subway foot long.
Open your eyes.
Bullshit. That is bullshit.
Did you get that, Bales, when he put it up? Oh.
That is ridiculous. What?
Any questions?
2 million of them.
Wowee.
How does that 2 million number or 6 million or whatever that Wikipedia, how does that somehow correlate with those letters? There's got to be a way.
Have you heard of showmanship?
I just,
That's for you. I mean, I've got a better gift from you guys, but that's a cheap souvenir.
I'm keeping this. What?
That's amazing, mate.
Thank you.
That's incredible.
You laughed at
I'm laughing because he loves Subway for long.
I was trying to, yeah.
Just thinking what he wants for lunch. Yeah.
It's that time of day.
Yeah, it is. Mate, that's
Wow.
incredible.
That is nuts.
you are amazing, mate.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Well
Thank you
done.
very much, boys,
That is
mate.
incredible.
Yeah,
That
I'll
is-
applaud that.
That is unbelievable because, again, like, well, you know when you see a magic show and you think, well, that person's a plan. Like,
Yeah, of course,
they're a mate.
But it's like,
I'm
you guys,
wow.
to be honest, TV magic, 90% of it is all BS.
Yeah.
Like, give me $1 million and a camera crew, I can create miracles too. So it's like, what really matters is, like I said the whole time, is doing it in person and actually experiencing it and feeling what it feels like to have it done to you. www.lucaskogakimagician.com, just if you want to experience that. But it's just so much different than seeing it online, isn't it?
That was unbelievable, Lucas. I can't thank you enough. I will never lose this now. This is coming home with me, and I'm going to put it somewhere
Beautiful.
safe, and it's going to remind me. But
For those watching, we hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
We hope your minds are blown just like ours. And if you haven't already, subscribe to that YouTube channel, dos&d, and go and find Lucas over on all his socials. He mentioned the website as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a party, you got a gig, you got some type of event, a bar mitzvah, a christening, a funeral, even.
Anything
if
you want.
even if you've just got the money and you want him in your lounge room,
Yeah,
I'd pay
I'll
for
do that too.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming
Thanks
on,
for
mate.
having me on,
We really
boys.
appreciate it. It's been
Appreciate
a
it.
blast. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.